it's your girl Serene. Welcome back to my channel, and those who are new, welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to let you know every time I upload a video. So today I want to discuss the Kim Potter versus Minnesota trial. Today is Monday, December 20th. Today they will be doing closing statements and handing the case over to the jury. That is what's happening today. So I want to discuss what has happened all the way up till today in this trial. I have not done a video on this trial until now because I basically have been a little conflicted with this case. Well, no, you know what? I don't want to use the word conflicted. I want to say frustrated. Frustrated is more accurate with this case. I do not like the way the prosecution has been doing this case. I don't like the way the defense is doing this case. More importantly, I do not like the fact that I feel what should have been said and came out in court have not. And first, I'm going to discuss some key points that happened in the trial. And then I'm going to discuss my full opinion and feeling on the trial. So, basically, the prosecution started off the trial with a lot, and I mean a lot, of officers, including the two officers that was on the scene. The officers all testified. All the officers that were on the stand all testified to what happened at the scene. They also testified that they didn't feel Kim Potter did anything wrong at the scene. They even testified that she had a right to use deadly force in this particular incident. The one officer, Johnson, who was on the passenger side of the vehicle, he testified that basically if she would not have shot Dante Wright, then he would have gotten drugged by the car and possibly killed. Right. Is what he testified to. They also had one, I want to say, it was one use of force expert they put on the stand, and that was pretty much it. In total, I think they had like 36 witnesses. Yeah. Now, the use of force expert is the only one throughout the prosecution case that stated she should not, that she had used excessive force, that she should not have used a gun or not even a taser for that incident. He also pointed out the fact that Dante Wright never attacked them. He never hit them, tried to punch, hit, kick, any of those things. He basically was just trying to flee the scene. But he never attacked the officers. He also stated that in the video, Officer Johnson, who was on the passenger side, was not inside the vehicle at the time that the vehicle took off, so he was never at risk of being drugged. He also stated that there is no way that Kim Potter would have even known what was going on the passenger side with Officer Johnson while she was doing what she was doing. which Officer Johnson stated during his testimony that he had no idea what they were doing on the driver's side when he was on the passenger side, because he was focused on his task at hand. Outside of that, except for the use of force expert, each officer agreed that she had the right to do what she had. Each officer also agreed that they liked her and felt she was a good person, a good cop and a good person. And you heard it throughout the trial. Dante's mother was she was the first person to speak, and his father was the last person to speak during the prosecution case. His girlfriend at the time, who was in the passenger seat with him during this incident, she also spoke. Of course, these are his loved ones, so they are very hurt. Lots of crying, lots of tears. You know, your heart breaks watching them break down, but they all discuss how Dante was a pleasant person in their family, that they loved him. The father said they had a very close relationship. They worked together, and not only did they work together, they rode together to work and home. They also discussed the fact he had a 1-year-old son that he was very close to and took care of. And I really felt bad for the girlfriend. She was crying so hard. But I think her tears were also from the traumatic experience of being in the car when this happened. Because, of course, you see more video of what really happened beyond what was the video we all watched on TV. And basically, she just felt like they just didn't even care. You know, even after they shot him and the car took off down the street, it hit another car that had an elderly couple in that car. The police never even went down there to check on them. It's in the video. They never went down there to check on them. Another police car pulled up to where the accident is. He's got his gun out because Officer Johnson called shots fired on his, you know, the thing they have up here to call for backup. Yeah, he called shots fired on there. So now the police are showing up thinking someone's shooting at their fellow officers. So they have guns. So they're pulling up with guns out, hollering for them to, you know, telling them to put their hands up, steady screaming for the driver to put their hands up. The boy's dead at this point. The girl is in the passenger side trying to tell him that he can't put his hands up, but you can hear that she's crying in the midst of this, but kind of found out she's also hurt too from the accident, pretty severely. The couple in the car, the wife that was driving, she testified, and then her daughter, on behalf of her father, testified because he's doing worse than what he was before the car accident happened. So she testified to the fact that she's watching her father go downhill more than he was before the car accident. Of course, all of them, including this elderly lady and her daughter, felt the police were very wrong. But one thing stood out to me about the elderly lady, and I'm sorry, I do not know her name at this point in time. I would try to look through my records to find her. But the elderly lady, the one thing she said that stood out to me the most was she said that she was more so shocked that the police never came over to her car to help her. She had to get out of her car on her own, and then she went around to check on her husband, who was very hurt. He was. She says she's not used to that. Normally, you're in a car accident, the police come and they help you. They ask you, are you okay? They make sure you're okay. She said it's never happened. So yeah, those are some key points from the prosecution case for me. The defense. So the defense case, they were just, to me, they were scoring big brownie points throughout the entire trial because, once again, like I said, the police officers that testified that were supposed to be testifying for the prosecution, all on cross-examination from defense, agreed that they did not feel she did anything wrong, and again, that she was a good person and a good officer. The chief, well, he's no longer the chief of police, but at the time of the incident, chief of police, he came and testified on her behalf about how she was a good cop and how long he had known her, how that he actually has a personal relationship with her, that he actually considered her a personal friend. They even brought out the part that he was partially fired because he did not fire her immediately after the incident. But we'll talk about that during my opinion. But keep in mind that part that he said it's partially because of that. Anywho, moving along. They also had her superior officers that her supervisor and all of them came in. They had 3 people who testified to, basically how she was a good person, family oriented, did a lot of volunteering, mentoring, basically letting us know once again that she was a good person and a good cop. That's pretty much the theme. They also had Kimberly Potter herself testify. Now, while she testified that basically she didn't mean to hurt anybody that day. Surprisingly to me, she had a lot of she didn't remember moments also, which to me was kind of like, really? They also brought out the fact that she was seeing a therapist. They was bringing out the fact that this was just a traumatic event for her. And they had a use of force expert themselves who testified that she was okay with using deadly force as well as the taser in this incident. Then they had I don't forgot what they called him, but he was some type of expert in I forgot what they call him. But this expert basically was trying to explain how she could have easily mistaken her gun for a taser. And basically how our brains work under stress. He wasn't a doctor, I do know that, but I can't remember his exact title, what kind of expert he was. And apparently I didn't write it down, so sorry about that. But that's pretty much how the trial went. So, my opinion and my feelings on the trial is this. And I'm going to tell you where I feel both the prosecution and the defense messed up at. But first, I'm going to tell you my personal opinion of this trial. Now, my personal opinion of this trial is, and I know a lot of people may not want to agree with me, I do believe that this was an accident as far as her pulling the gun instead of the taser. I believe that was an accident. I do. However, that doesn't mean she should not have to pay for shooting and killing this young man. Now, the thing is, even though I feel what she did was a mistake, I think she truly believes she was pulling her taser instead of her gun. The problem I have with this is during the trial, it came out that this woman, in the 26 years she has been on the force, has never even used her gun or a taser on anybody. She's never even pulled her gun out on someone. And I think it was a record of 3 to 4 times she actually pulled her taser out, but still never used it. I also do not understand how a woman who she had only been training for that department, I think for a week at the time of this incident. But I don't understand how she qualified to train when she never even had to pull her gun out on anybody. How I don't understand how they qualify her to train someone. I'm very, very much so confused on that. I would rather have someone who has did it all, honey, than had to pull the gun out, than had to pull the taser out, and possibly have had used it. Not saying they should all be shooting somebody, but I'm saying I'd rather have somebody who's had all those type of experiences training a new officer that's going out here on the street versus someone who has not had these type of things training someone out here going on the streets. And it also explained the fact that when let me calm down. The use of force expert that has been discussing the case on court TV with the other reporters on here, one of the first things he said is he felt the situation was handled wrong from the beginning, which I agree. Number one, they put him over because of so-called expired tags and so-called air freshener in his windshield. And by the way, when Kim Potter was on the stand, she admitted that she wouldn't regularly pull nobody over just because they had an air freshener. But they wasn't supposed to be even pulling him over because of the tags, which she also admitted on the stand, because at that time, with the shutdown for COVID-19, we did not have those places open to renew tags and stuff. Although, I will say, my tags expired during the shutdown, and I was able to order mine online after everything opened, and you just had to wait for your sticker to come in the mail. But still, they weren't supposed to be pulling people over for that because those things were shut down. So the pullover from the start was all wrong. Regardless of the fact they ended up finding out he had a warrant, it was still wrong. Secondly, the way they put him out the car was all wrong. They were according to the use of force expert, they were bundled into one area in front of the car. When they pulled him out the car, they should have had him step to the back of his car. That way they had more control of the situation, more room to operate, and all of that. On top of the fact, you had all three of these officers talking to Dante at one time. One will say you have a warrant, not another one saying you have a warrant, not the other one saying you this and that. You know, that's a common thing I've noticed. All these officers giving commands or saying something all at one time instead of letting one officer in the group being the one to speak. I don't understand why that's not something they do automatically, comprehendedly. You know what I mean? Anywho, that's getting off subject. The thing was all wrong from the start. But she's training someone to do these things. That's not even the right thing to do. Furthermore, I also did not feel like her distraughtness after the fact was about what she actually had done to Dante. I think it was the fact that she knew she did wrong and now it was going to be consequences. And she went straight to thinking about nothing and no one but her, including her fellow officers. Because once again, that car crash, they never even walked down there to see if, she never asked if Dante was okay. She never even asked if the passenger was okay. Nobody thought about her at all. And then you just watch this car run into another car. Y'all never even asked if them people was okay. The sole focus was on how she felt about what was happening to her life, even though she just took someone else's life. I know self-preserve is a thing that all humans have, but when you hurt someone that you didn't mean to hurt, to me, a normal human response is the first thing, are they okay? Are they really hurt? First off, you want to make sure you really hurt them or not. If they surviving or not. You know what I'm saying? To me, she just did not have no remorse for what was done. Now back to the case part. Her whole defense had nothing to do with how sorry she truly was. Her whole defense was, he was a freaking criminal. They had the right to do what they did. He was fighting them, and he wasn't fighting them. He was just trying to escape. He never swung on them. He never hit them. He never kicked them. The video has been played hundreds of times, and he's never attacked not one of them officers. His defense wanted to discuss his criminal record. Again, has nothing to do. You knew none of these things when you pulled him over. They even tried to argue and have his mother criminal background brought into court. And I'm still trying to figure out, what does that matter? So because she had a past of past aggressions in jail, mean her remorse for her child means nothing? The hurt of her losing her child means nothing because that's crazy. I feel that here in America, we seem to have this thing that if someone's convicted of a crime, that automatically means their life is less than somebody who has not committed a crime. And I just feel that is the most absurd, crazy thing I've ever heard. And we need to stop. We need to stop it now. Right now. I do not like the fact that they did not bring in the fact, to me they did not emphasize the fact enough that Dante should never had even been pulled over to begin with. Period. And the only reason they pulled him over was because he was a young black man. Period. Period. Driving while black is exactly why you pulled him over. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. At all. At all. I also do not like the fact that the defense didn't even bring out what I just discussed to you, that she showed no real remorse towards Dante. And when she testified, she never said his name throughout her whole testimony. When she was doing it, when her lawyer was questioning her, when she talked about it on cross-examination, she never used Dante's name. The whole thing was just about what she's been going through. When she was re-cross-examination, when she did the re-cross-examination, the whole time, even when she was with her lawyer, she just looked mad. But I also feel like she has some depression going on too. I do feel I could see that in her. But I also feel like even the depressed person can show more emotion than what she did. It's like she was trying to hide her tears. I think she was more so trying to testify like a police officer would be expected to testify if they was testifying in a criminal trial and they was testifying against a criminal. And the thing is, she should have been testifying as a person who took another person's life by accident. And that's not how she testified at all to me. At all. I don't know if it's going to hurt her. I don't know if it's going to help her. Now, me personally, I don't know if she's going to be found guilty or not. But I will say I'm more okay with the fact she's not a police officer anymore. And I don't think that's something she would ever go back to. And I don't think she should. I don't think any officer out here that is so scared and terrified of people they have to approach, because that's their job. Whether they're pulling over, approaching, going to a scene, going to handle a dispute. If you are so terrified that your first thought is to shoot and kill people without even really knowing what's going on or even who they are, because the thing is, regardless of what his warrant was for, he wasn't found guilty of anything at that point. He just had a warrant. He still needed to go to court. You shouldn't be on the police force. If you're that scared, you should not be on the police force. Period. And we need to stop having it where it's susceptible to take a life because they may have a criminal past. That needs to stop. So they are literally in the middle of giving closing statements as I'm speaking to you right now. And then again, the case will be handed over to the jury. And we'll see what happens. Like I say, I don't know if they're going to find her guilty or not. But I do feel that because a person decides to run from law enforcement, it should not automatically makes that a death sentence to run. It shouldn't. It should not. It should not. I could see if this was a mass murderer that just escaped from a prison and he's trying to run. I can even understand. I mean, they're proving that mass murderer, they're gonna just kill. But Come on now. He wasn't a mass murderer. I think it's just sad. Just sad. But yeah. That's how I'm feeling about that. And of course, once the jury come back with their verdict, whenever they get the case and come back with their verdict, I will surely let you know what the verdict for this case is. But these are my thoughts on the case. And if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for listening or even caring about my opinion. And I would love to hear y'all opinion. If you go ahead and leave a comment down there. So go ahead and give me that thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not. And hit the notification bell to make sure you made aware of all the videos I post. And go ahead and leave your thoughts on what you think about the trial and whether or not she'll be convicted. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Mwah.